Hey, I'm Ben Silverio.
And I'm Nicole Keating.
And I'm Ansel Burch.
And it's
Time to party!
Today's episode about Kid in King Arthur's Court was recorded on December 18th, 2022. We are not doctors. We don't give medical advice. Please drink responsibly.
That probably fits better than what I did.
Yeah.
Because as the medieval scholar of the group,
Yes.
who was on the charts at the time? Who was topping?
No one.
No one?
No one. Because we hadn't invented the printing press yet, so nobody could publish music and disseminate it widely. So at best, like,
It was whoever got to travel.
yeah, whoever traveled, you might know that guy from like the town over.
Sounds like D&D, exactly like D&D.
Yeah.
You just know this random bard from the town over.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know when they invented charts. Like, the idea of a chart. I have more questions about that later in this movie.
Anyway, yeah, neither here nor there. But yeah, God, yeah, okay. Well, and then the question is, are we going based on when they're costumed, or are we going based on when King Arthur ought to have happened?
When they're costumed. That is really taking liberties with the idea that there's a specific era that they had in mind at all.
Yeah.
Because for the first, 45 minutes of this movie, I was convinced King Arthur was just wearing a t-shirt with
He's
a
just
dragon's
wearing a
screen
t-shirt
printed on it.
with a
I
rolled
don't know.
collar.
I don't know what you're talking about with these costumes. It's like when people say Game of Thrones takes place in history. I'm like this
nah.
and Game of Thrones are same.
Yeah.
Before we get too into the costuming debate, party people, welcome back to Time to Party, where we spend our time talking about time.
And traveling there appertaining unto.
That was good. That's good. Yeah, that's good.
Is that the new tagline
I'm
for
working
this
on it.
podcast?
We're workshopping it.
Spend time talking about time.
What did I say last time?
Oh, I don't remember.
You should just change it up every time.
That's
every single
basically
time.
what we're doing at this point.
That's pretty much what happens.
But see, like I said earlier, sometimes I don't listen to the episodes because I haven't seen the fucking movies.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no, another one I have to skip.
I'm pretty sure Time to Party Season 4 will be, now we have a tagline.
And that's the tagline.
Yeah.
And we are talking about a kid in King Arthur's Court.
That's correct.
An adaptation of the Mark Twain classic, A Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court.
Apparently, it is not.
Oh, it's not?
technically?
Apparently, they never listed that amongst their inspirations for the film. They were inspired by all the other things that were inspired by A Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court.
Oh, fascinating.
So it's like a third layer of reference.
Yeah. So it's like a fan fiction of a fan fiction.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
I was looking at the IMDb fun facts, and they were not fun. But that was one of them. That was like, yeah, they listed a whole bunch of like secondary references,
so
not.
It's just sort of the pun of the title, and then the sort of third degree of inspiration.
That's interesting.
I get it.
They had access to one of the
Amalgamation of
sets
sources.
from another historical pick at the time, and we're like, yeah, well, let's use that castle.
I was literally just about
The
to
castle
ask
in
if
Hungary, where they shot the film.
You guys looked up all the facts.
I didn't.
I did not look up any of the facts.
They
Oh,
shot
good.
on location
not-
almost entirely in Hungary.
That's
I'm
cool.
going to learn. That's very interesting because to me it looks like it's all shot on a soundstage.
Right.
Shot on a soundstage. Say that for your vocal warm-ups.
Yeah.
Before you do the Shakespearean level of acting
Absolutely.
required to pretend to be in medieval times.
What would Sir Patrick Stewart do?
His research,
Yeah.
his acting homework, a good
he'd
job.
That's true.
It's
He
called
would do a good job.
preparing.
An actor prepares.
Yes.
Now, the first thing that I noticed about this movie going into it was this movie is available on Disney Plus.
Correct.
It's also very old at this point.
It's very old.
Full spoilers ahead.
And so if you don't know this, we also gave you the warning in the first episode. Watch the movie before you listen to the second episode.
I mean, 1995 was.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
It's been a minute.
That's almost 30
Don't do the math. Don't.
Stop it.
Don't.
Oh,
That
do
will
we
not
do
make
math
you.
on this podcast?
No, it just
No.
won't make you happy.
I like being older and wiser. I don't know about y'all.
Sure,
I don't
but
mind
I don't like
Body is falling apart, but I like being older and wiser.
I don't like the daily reminder that I'm older and wiser.
True.
Yeah, there's something about knowing that, like, oh yes, this thing that was seminal to you, that's 30 years old now. Goes, okay, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that constantly hits me is like the media that formed who I am as a person. I am now older than most of the protagonists of those things. And I'm just like, damn. Should I just get new things? Like, is that what I need to do?
No, the problem is that they don't make cool movies about old people. They're all depressing. They're all about like being like old and contemplative and thinking back on your life. I'm just like, you guys, enjoy something a little bit. I don't give a shit if your knees hurt.
That's why
You can still enjoy something if your knees hurt.
That's why I love the Golden Girls.
Yes, exactly.
You know?
Exactly. We need more Golden Girls.
We absolutely need more Golden Girls. But the fun fact about Golden Girls is that essentially the age that they start the show at is Marissa Tomei. Like right now. Mm-hmm. You know, so if that show was made now, they would all look like Marissa Tomei.
Yeah.
You know, and Marissa Tomei as Aunt May makes sense because she's about the age that Aunt May would be in Spider-Man the Animated Series. But back then, Spider-Man the Animated Series was made by a bunch of people who were like, oh, she's past her 50s? So she must be ancient.
practically dead.
She looks like a little old grandmother. She looks 80. Aunt May must have just had a hard life, y'all.
It's the mileage.
But speaking of things that make us sad / a little like nostalgic, sad is implied in nostalgia.
There's an element.
The old school Disney intro was on Disney Plus, and I feel like every time I've watched an older Disney movie recently, it's been the new Disney intro.
Sure.
Yeah.
And granted, a lot of the ones I've seen on TV because they've just been like on. But it's that with the like scroll up animation.
That didn't even occur to me.
Classic.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Heartbreak, and then we transition immediately into some like fake epic music. The world has changed.
Yep.
And so this intro, in my mind, is cinematically perfect.
It's me. I'm back.
It's me.
If you don't know what we're talking about when we say Kid in King Arthur's Court, here's what our new friends at Rotten Tomatoes tell us about the movie. When a violent earthquake rocks Southern California, hapless teenager Calvin Fuller finds himself careening through a hole torn in the fabric of time. Calvin awakens in the Middle Ages, where legendary sorcerer Merlin recruits him to rid Camelot of evil. Calvin must use his 20th century street smarts to outwit the despicable Lord Belasco.
I'm trying to be professional here.
Lord Belasco, an
Lord Elastic.
insidious nobleman determined to wrest control of the throne from King Arthur. How much time does Rotten Tomatoes have when they do these things? Like, they really go all out on
How much
them.
time or how many interns?
Well, that's a whole other thing. God, I remember interning in Hollywood. That was a thing.
Why are they our new friends at Rotten Tomatoes?
Because we normally share the synopsis from IMDb. And
We used
this
to
season,
Yes.
Oh, we're doing Rotten Tomatoes instead.
Rotten Tomatoes also. First episode is IMDb. Second
Then
episode is Rotten Tomatoes.
I see.
And then
I see.
third episode
Can you
is-
tell I haven't seen any of the movies in this season that you've released so far?
None of these have been released yet.
Oh, this is
they're all still
in the
we're
episode.
we're all doing season 2 now. Oh, so we're still in season 1.
Yeah. Or no,
haven't s-
we're recording
doing three
season
now.
3 now.
3.
Yes.
Oy vey.
I
Can you
know.
tell I haven't seen a lot of the movies you've covered?
No.
It's okay.
I've I've listened to like 4 of the movies
But
that
yes.
you've done.
You know how this
Even
works.
4 times.
But yeah, we usually do IMDb every time, and then Stella very smartly was like, "Why don't you do a different one every time, and we were
the reason I was asking is because I was like, I hope they're not sponsors, so we can say things about.
Oh yeah, please, yeah.
You can absolutely say things about Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
Hashtag not spawn. Yeah.
Yeah. Score that Rotten Tomatoes gives A Kid in King Arthur's Court.
Lay it on
Is
me.
it great?
It is 5% on the tomato meter.
Wow.
And the audience score is 27%.
Okay.
Like, this is my whole gripe with film criticism. Sure, it may not be for you, but it's for someone that might enjoy it. It's for kids.
It's for kids.
That is the whole thing. It's for kids.
It is for time-traveling Little League players.
But, like, I'm obviously not going to grade this on the same curve as I am The Fabelmans. Like, The Fabelmans is Oscar bait.
This is not Oscar bait.
As we said,
obviously, it's a children's movie.
But like we said in episode 1, if this came out later, this would be a Disney Channel original movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it feels like it because of the way it's laid out.
It very much feels like a Disney Channel original movie, and it very much. I think if it had come out as a Disney Channel original movie, it might have the same sort of cultural cachet as a Xenon.
Absolutely,
sure,
100%. Well, we should start there by talking about why you picked this movie, Nicole.
Well, I explained at the top of last episode the connection to Warrior Pope and the last time I saw this movie. And it was always just, it was a childhood favorite because, like I said, I've always been the same. And I wanted to revisit this one. I love a medieval history. I love a Kate Winslet. Mm-hmm. And again, it's a feel-good film. At the end of the day, it really is an inspirational sports movie. So it is just a classic and very near and dear to my heart. I did not remember everything that happens in this movie, but as soon as things started happening, I would remember them instantly. Absolutely. And be like, I know exactly what's going to happen next.
First, I believe the movie to pair a kid in King Arthur's Court with would have to be Rookie of the Year.
It literally came up as the next thing on, like,
Absolutely.
The movie closed, and then it was like, because you watched Kid in King Arthur's Court, Rookie of the Year. And I, again, also in my notes, lol. Disney Plus actually literally suggested Rookie of the Year. Maybe I'll come back to that after I finish Mind Over Murder, the HBO true crime documentary about the graphic rape and murder of an elderly woman.
Wow.
So that's what I'm going to come back to for my my after movie mint. When I was in high school, again, I've always been the same. I used to pair the movie Quills with the Care Bears movie.
Great movie.
Aww.
Oh, Quills is one of my favorite movies, speaking of Kate Winslet.
Well, that was one of my notes also. Literally in all caps, it was Kate Winslet and Daniel Craig. I forgot that both of them were in this movie.
I, of course, remembered Kate Winslet for multiple reasons. But I did not remember Daniel Craig. But it's good when Kate Winslet is seventh billing.
That's some early Winslet.
Absolutely.
Early Winslet catalog. Some of my favorite Winslets.
So, Nicole, you were born and raised in Illinois, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So, did you have a connection to Thomas Ian Nicholas because of Rookie of the Year?
I believe I actually watched Rookie of the Year after this one.
Oh, okay.
I was raised by a single mom who is not very, like, sporty in and of herself. She's kind of outdoorsy, but she's not, like... Okay, put it this way. She's not as into movies as I am.
Oh, okay.
And so she definitely would not go in for the inspirational sports movie.
Gotcha.
She is the type of person who, like, she wants the straight-up drama or the straight-up comedy. She wants the Schitt's Creek. She wants the Severance. She wants
in between.
No, yeah. She wants all that. Nothing with genre. Every time she asks me for a recommendation, I'm like... I've got some, but this one has vampires, and this one has dragons, and this one has spaceships, so you're probably not going to like any of them. She once asked me a question, and in order to answer the question, I had to explain something about the Flash to her, and I just saw her eyes glaze right over. over. And so I did not see Rookie of the Year until after this because I sought it out.
Gotcha.
And when I was younger, my sister and I would play this game where we would surprise each other with a movie.
Oh, that's fun.
And we had to guess what movie it was based on what trailers came before it.
Wow.
And so one of the trailers, we had this movie on VHS, and one of the trailers before this was for Rookie of the Year. So I knew it existed, but I didn't really know I liked sports at all at that point. So I had to seek that one out.
Calvin Fuller, who was timid and quiet at the beginning of this movie, was so incredibly confident when he got to Camelot.
Turns out all he needed was some head trauma.
Apparently,
a little bit of a knockabout.
Yeah, because he didn't question for 1 second that Camelot was real.
Look, he got used to this really fast. Everybody got used to this really fucking fast.
Well, everybody else just thought he was from a different place. At no time do any of the other characters acknowledge that time travel has happened. Calvin is the only one who is aware.
Yes, but he figures it out very quickly and deals with it completely.
But that's the thing.
Calvin, he's unflappable.
But Calvin is very intelligent, as we see throughout the movie. So doesn't he realize that King Arthur wasn't an actual thing?
I mean, I think when you are physically faced with a group of people who are a thing, like, your options are to completely lose grip with reality or accept that you are in this place with these people. And I think that's how the Renaissance Fair works.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
King Arthur's not real?
Because,
I mean, sure he is. We saw him in the movie.
He's Centaur?
There's maybe a tomb for him. There's maybe a castle.
But, like, the whole thing is that...
He may or may not be French.
But wasn't the whole thing that he's, like, an amalgamation of historical figures, right?
That is one theory.
That's possible, yeah.
So, like, for him to get the history correct, like, pretty quickly...
Mm-hmm. It is interesting you brought up Santa. I'm going to derail immediately. I apologize.
Do it.
It's interesting you bring up Santa because it is a similar thing. Where King Arthur was a French story that was told about this ancient king who sleeps and will come back. And the first manuscripts we have of it are from the early medieval period, which tells us that if Arthur was a real person, he is from, like, the 1st century or some shit. Like, way back. Which is why some iterations have Arthur in, like, Roman garb and fighting with the Picts and stuff. But popular because it became popular in the medieval period, medieval people did not have a strong historicity concept. And so we're like, yeah, he wore clothes like us. And yeah, he's swords like we've got and castles like we've got.
I believe this dialect that you're using for the medieval period,
early medieval French,
is about as accurate as the dialect used in this movie.
Yeah, for sure. So Arthur was one of those things that, like, a lot of people told Arthur stories. He was a popular story.
Right.
And then some jackass wrote him down, and that's when we started having romances of him, which just meant books. And then those romances became a popular thing for you to fanfic on. And if your fanfic got written down, well, chances are pretty good that was the only book in your whole fucking town. And so here we are, hundreds of years later, reading, whatever it was that you wrote. So some of them are bananas. There's one Arthurian legend where Arthur fights, or no, it's not even Arthur, it's one of the other knights, fights a fish knight.
Yes.
Have you read this one?
Yes, I have.
The knight and the horse are all one fish creature.
I'm sorry, King Arthur versus Aquaman?
But Aquaman,
Aquaman
a centaur Aquaman.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like, he's not riding a seahorse.
Yeah, no, he's the full body of a horse and the knight on top of him are all together somehow.
They didn't understand biology.
A fish thing.
And see, I know less. I'm not a medieval scholar like you.
Oh, I would hardly call myself a scholar. I minored.
Minored. More of my expertise is in like the early modern era, and most of that is I didn't even minor because the like prereqs for minoring were too boring.
But do you have a favorite Arthurian lore?
Like a version of the myth?
Right.
Or like a version of the... Oh, man. This is a very good question. I wish you had given me this question in advance because...
I'm sorry.
I have a...
I mean, Monty Python.
Yeah.
Oh, my fucking
three
God.
I have three.
That's such a good choice.
Spamalot the musical.
Okay.
Specifically the musical, not the movie.
All right.
Sword in the Stone, the Disney movie.
Oh, also good.
And Green Knight.
I haven't seen
Green
Knight.
Knight.
So good.
They made that movie for me, and I haven't watched it yet, and that's a crime.
They all watched it at my place, and I had a show, and I came back at the very end, and all y'all were talking about is magical cum rag, and I was like, I don't know what happened in this movie, and everybody is shouting about this man's magical cum rag. What is happening?
Green Knight is a phenomenal Christmas movie.
Oh, is it?
It is.
Maybe I'll use that as an excuse to watch
yeah.
it because I do really want to.
There you go.
How much of a horror movie is it? Because that's what's keeping
It's not.
Okay.
I don't think
No,
it
it's
is.
just like it's just
somebody
like,
sold it to me as a horror movie, and my wife was like,
No.
absolutely not.
No.
I at least from what I saw, and I mean, I obviously saw. I saw the climax of the movie,
Yeah.
and only that, which would ostensibly be the scariest part.
Right.
It's just very like eerie.
Yeah.
Sure.
And
Eerie is a good word for it.
In the way of like a Beowulf being eerie. Like
Which,
it's definitely
that makes sense. That's what it should be.
Yeah.
But Dev Patel does a phenomenal job.
Dev
He
Patel.
seemed great.
The makeup is just insane.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's so good. I have it on the shelf over there.
This might be one of my favorites.
That's fair.
Other
Okay.
than my pretentious pick, which is the original Morte d'Arthur, like epic poetry.
Are we including books in this?
Go for it.
Okay.
Why not?
Oh, you know what? No.
I went straight to
Y'all
movies.
are more learned than I am. Which
And
is why
I
all three of
have-
mine were movies. Well, okay. 2 were movies, 1 is musical.
I do have a
'Cause
soft spot
Morte
for
d'Arthur
the,
is, yeah.
It's really good. I do have a soft spot for the King Arthur with the Ridley Scott with that's Ridley Scott, right? With Keira Knightley.
Keira Knightley,
and,
yeah.
Clive Owen and Jon Griffith.
Roman.
I have a soft spot for that one, as well as the motherfucking Mists of Avalon. Even though Marion Zimmer Bradley is so problematic.
Oh, is she? Damn it, I haven't been paying attention to her.
Her children have come out with sexual assault allegations against her and their father.
Ooh.
I fucking know.
Oof.
Oh, no.
Oof.
But
I'm a little surprised that you didn't say Camelot. Right? Was that the name of that
the
show?
The
No,
musical?
Merlin, the BBC
oh,
show.
No
I have
one's
not
gonna
actually
list
watched
that.
Neither have I, but I pegged you as someone who would have watched it.
You've pegged me?
Not without your consent.
I mean, I approve.
If that's an option.
At least Lord Belasco asks for consent at one point in
Does
this
he?
movie. He does.
He does.
I didn't catch
If-
that.
In like a not good way,
If
but
you do not consent to marry me, at least he's asking.
But he also wants to make Camelot great again.
yeah,
He
that
is,
phrasing was.
He is.
I audibly made a noise.
Oh, me too.
Did Trump pull it from this?
Oh, no.
I doubt it.
Plagiarism.
Do you think he's got that kind of memory?
No. Someone on his staff does, though.
Junior watched this movie as a kid.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, Dad.
Yeah. Yeah, and then he just wouldn't shut up and was like, fine, we'll put it on the hats.
I need to say, before we actually fully jump back in time in this movie, just a couple more things about baseball. One, because I love an inspirational sports movie, the villain team is wearing Packers colors. And given the affiliation with the Chicago Cubs that TIN already has, and obviously now Wisconsin is the villain. This is a firmly, even though he's from Reseda, which apparently I've been spelling wrong my entire life. I watched this movie with the captions.
Same.
And I watch everything with the captions. But I've always spelled it Racida.
Oh, no. Nope.
Yeah.
Apparently that's not
Apparently that's not it. That's not it.
Yep. There's an E.
2 E's.
2 E's.
What do you suspect the other team was supposed to be? Because their logo is like a backwards J.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they're
Jacks.
the Jesters or the Jacks or the Jokers or something.
I thought Jacks. knights and jacks.
Right.
That seems to work together.
That does seem to work.
Because he's a knight.
Or
he's
the jesters.
on the knights.
Yeah, jesters would have also been appropriate.
Did you catch that Princess Katie was in the crowd?
Yes, at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Yes, because I've watched this movie 10,000 times.
But at the end, she's wearing a jersey. Because if she's on his team, he's not very perceptive.
There are...
Also, were there girls on his team before the time jump?
No.
He jumps back in time, and now it's a co-ed team, which is great. Sold. Love it.
I love it, too. Merlin maybe worked a little retcon.
Gotcha.
That's how I always figured it. Because if she's in the crowd, cool. But there is also the fact of, like, maybe this is all just a dream.
Right. That's the thing that I came to at the end, you know? Like, if Merlin dropped him off before the earthquake didn't happen. So was it just all a dream for him to build his confidence?
Mm-hmm.
And if that were the case, and she was on his team, and she has these memories of, like, practicing with him and hanging out with him and all this stuff, like, bro, you fucked up.
Yeah, I don't know. But it could also just be magic. I also like to think that, Kate and Daniel Craig are ruling the kingdom, and he and King Arthur and Katie came back to the future, if you will, to hang out and be with Cal.
Do you think it's that they came back to the future, or is it one of those, like, I found someone who looks just like you in my time?
No,
which
eyes
happens
she
sometimes.
gives him at the end.
She does give him the bedroom eyes, yeah.
Like
or the teenage attempt at it.
Expressive eyebrows.
Yeah.
When she was
jumped all the way to the end of the movie, y'all. Anything else about the baseball scenes?
One of the things about Reseda, being in the valley, not everyone in the valley surely knows karate, right? I mean,
does he know karate?
Yeah, he's doing karate in
He
Arthur's castle.
Is he?
I think he's doing what he learned in a karate movie.
That's what
he
I
said.
Up.
He went to karate class after a bully was picking on him.
That's true. His dad does seem a little like. Speaking of these baseball scenes, at the very end, I was definitely like, oh, now he's going to be good at baseball, so his dad will love him. Like, he seems to have a very problematic relationship with his dad.
That's how dads be,
to
apparently.
Toughen him up. That he signed him up for this karate class. But also, karate is kind of a nerd sport.
Also, if Karate Kid has taught us anything, it's that everyone in the valley knows karate.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they don't want to talk anything out.
That's how they solve all their problems. Yeah.
So, I just have to say, though, I do love Cobra Kai so much because it's so funny. Because of, and it's not even because of Daniel LaRusso. It's because of the rival, Johnny Lawrence.
Yeah.
He's stuck in the 80s. So to see him in the modern day is just the highlight of the show. But the writers of Cobra Kai managed to get to the heart of Johnny Lawrence and Daniel LaRusso and all this stuff. So watch Cobra Kai on Netflix is what I'm saying, basically. All right. It's
highly recommend Cobra Kai.
I do. Work and I watch it together for the most part. We didn't watch We didn't watch the most recent season together, but...
How many seasons? Didn't the show just start?
No.
It's been like 3 years.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
COVID.
I'm learning so much today.
It started on YouTube Red, and then Netflix picked it up, and then continued it.
Okay, I'm not even going to ask another question.
It was before YouTube Premium.
So I feel like asking a question in this room is like typing it into Wikipedia. I'm literally going to find the whole article right here.
We've talked a little bit about when we first saw the King's outfit, but we haven't talked at all about the beginning of the movie other than that. The beginning of the medieval period of the movie.
I fully didn't remember how he time traveled. It really happened fast.
Right. This time travel mechanism does require a lot of suspension of disbelief.
It's a magic portal. It's
fine. A magic portal, very Wonderlandian.
Mm-hmm.
Very Wonderlandian. Fully with the hole and everything.
Absolutely.
I do appreciate that it deposits him above the Black Knight for some reason. That seems unnecessary, but here we are. That's how we start.
Merlin sees the Black Knight as a threat, right?
Does he?
He doesn't know who the Black Knight is.
Yeah, I suppose at that point we think the Black Knight is a problem.
No, we think the Black Knight is a problem, but how does Merlin should know, right? he can see through time, or is that just a spell?
In fairness, I'm not sure that Kate Winslet knew at that point in the movie that she was the Black Knight. So
no, I think they might have dropped that in way later.
Yeah, that was a third act edit. Somebody was like,
a little bit of a...
Wait, how do we end this movie? Kate, can you wear the armor?
Speaking of the middle of the movie, they really dropped the whole Black Knight plot for
they really did
most of it.
Long time.
Oh yeah, in favor
enough that when she shows up, or it's the Black Knight shows up in the middle of the movie to give out like food to the peasants, you're like, oh yeah,
oh that guy.
Oh, that's right.
I forgot about him.
That's right. That was a problem we were supposed to be dealing with.
The appearance of Daniel Craig was again a surprise.
Absolutely.
And as much as I was definitely very young when this movie came out, but as much as the young heart center of the movie is supposed to be Cal and Katie, I was always, of course, more into Kate Winslet and Daniel Craig, especially that blonde mushroom cut.
Oh, yeah.
For a hot second, I thought about doing the mushroom cut as my little bit of, like, deep dive historical info.
Oh, there you go.
There is a picture of my husband, David Kelch, in a play when he was in college where he has the full He-Man like blowout with
Phenomenal.
the little curl underneath.
Hell yeah.
So beautiful. Full page boy. This time period really, this movie blends all these time periods.
Yeah.
So we're getting medieval, we're getting Renaissance, we're getting
No research was done. It's fine.
No, zero research was done. They walked into a Spirit Halloween and were like, give me the medieval costumes.
Can we talk about how, I mean, it's completely unnecessary, but like just to illustrate the point and so we can get off of it. If you had ever read an Arthurian myth, you'd know any of the other names.
None of them are there.
Arthur and Merlin are it.
Right.
Yeah.
And he mentions Guinevere, but where are the
Not
rest?
by name.
No, he does.
They never say her name.
Yeah, when he's talking to Excalibur.
In
the scene in his study, which is Merlin's
who
room,
says it?
Arthur says Guinevere.
I will choose to believe you, but I when I was watching it, I was like, does he not remember his wife's name?
Yeah, no,
so
he says Guinevere in like, oh, you left me here to deal with this bullshit, essentially.
Okay. So they remembered 3 names.
Yeah, but like none of the other Knights of the Round Table are there. In fact, we don't even get the Round Table until later.
Because there's that sort of creation paradox where Calvin gives him the idea of the Round Table.
Like, oh, a Round Table?
Maybe maybe we're supposed to believe that Bors and Gawain come along later.
Later? But King Arthur's so
old.
But then Lancelot can't fuck Guinevere.
That's true.
It's very important.
What happens?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah. His best friend's got to fuck his wife. And he's got to be kind of cool about it.
I don't think this movie had a fight choreographer. And at one point I took that note. And then at another point I said, yeah, I really don't think so. And then at the end of the movie when there's like this big climactic battle and Arthur is like, I'm like, oh no, they definitely didn't have a fight choreographer. The director did this.
Do you know what director Michael Gottlieb is known for? Aside from A Kid in King Arthur's Court?
My college JTE, Jewish Theater Ensemble production of Children of Eden. That's what the name Michael Gottlieb conjures in my mind.
Fair enough. The movies that he was known for prior to this were Mannequin, Mannequin 2, and Mr. Nanny.
And what?
Mr. Nanny, starring Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
I don't even know that last movie.
Oh, I
consider yourself fortunate.
I mean, as a wrestling fan in the 90s, I knew it.
Obligated.
Absolutely. Because Hulk Hogan was just fucking ridiculous back then before I knew he was a racist. But yeah, Michael Gottlieb does not have that many credits because, first of all, following the release of A Kid in King Arthur's Court, he transitioned into the video game industry as a producer for the remainder of his entertainment career. And he passed away in May 2014 because of a motorcycle accident.
Holy shit, that's fucking devastating.
Wow.
How is this episode on Kid in King Arthur's Court so serious and so sad?
Sorry.
Pour one down your... That's another rule for the drinking game. I think you just have to pour one down the gullet for Michael Gottlieb.
Out of respect.
Out of respect. Live to 69 years old.
Nice.
God damn it.
Is that rude?
Is it rude? Look, if I were to die at 69, I would hope
You'd
that
consider that.
You'd have to.
I would consider that a compliment.
At your funeral, we will all go, nice.
But obviously, his movies were not very action heavy.
No.
You had Mr. Nanny, but like Mannequin?
Also, he's what age in this at the time of this?
Well,
he certainly seemed like the sort of age where you shouldn't have expected him to get into a sword fight.
He was born in
competently.
1945.
Okay. So in 1994, he would have been
95.
95?
It was 95.
Well, that was when it was released.
Right.
But we're assuming
assuming they shot
filming was in 94 or
Good
93.
Point. Yes.
So he's like, wow.
50?
Yeah, he's not even 50 yet.
Yeah.
Man, it's the mileage.
It's the mileage. I'd like to come back to wrestling for a second.
Okay.
Because one thing towards the end of this movie that I did not fucking understand at all was the rules of this joust. First of all, how many falls is this match scheduled for?
Right.
Because I think it's one, but it doesn't seem to have any rules. Are we doing a bracket? Like, what's the deal with the joust?
Is it a round robin tournament, one and done?
It is bananas that every single rider gets unhorsed. Bananas.
I know, and are they dead? People are getting wheeled off the field, and I was like, is that guy fucking dead?
So frequently, two things happen when you get knocked off of a horse in a real joust. One, your armor is really fucking heavy.
Yeah.
So, like, to stand you back up and walk you off the field is a whole thing.
So it's easier to
So
just be like...
just cart you off, and, like, that makes sense. And two, you just got your bell rung hard.
You probably have at least one concussion.
Yeah. The traumatic brain injury is
the percentage
there.
is quite high.
Yeah.
You will have a TBI.
Yeah.
I think that if I ever...
So they cite the rule. They cite the rule of, like, he's still on his horse, he gets to go again.
But they say that later, because they say that after Cal says, yeah, you know the rules. And I was like,
though Cal
no,
knows the rules.
I literally don't know
It's
the
true.
rules, Cal. Please explain it to me. And then they do.
Calvin's been learning at the knee of Master Kane for however long he's been in.
However long that is.
However long he's been there. But
A non-specified.
my whole thing is that for a tournament like this, to win Camelot, to win Excalibur, and to win the hand of Kate Winslet, there's only one event? Like, wouldn't there be multiple events for something like this?
Yeah, I mean, they say tournament, and tournament implies...
Even in A Knight's Tale, he has to go through multiple events, right?
I continually compared this.
He doesn't?
So he does multiple events because he wants to win multiple prizes.
Yes.
Oh. And
The joust is
all
the
of
most
those-
prestigious, and that's why he
Really?
stops doing the sword in The Knight's Tale. It's one of the few things about The Knight's Tale that's like,
So what you're saying is A Knight's Tale is more historically accurate than A Kid in King Arthur's Court.
Easily.
Yes, yeah, I would not...
Easily.
I would not hesitate.
Cheers,
at all
Alan
to say
Tudyk.
that.
Here, yeah.
It's cold, Lance. Hello. I continually compared this to Knight's Tale in my mind while watching it.
There's a lot of similarities.
Similar
You know what I kept-
era, similar vibe.
You know what I kept comparing it to is The Court Jester, starring Danny Kaye.
Yes, the chalice with the something.
The
is it
chalice from the
poison
palace
with
has the pellet with poison.
Poison with the
Yeah.
That
Flagon
tongue
with the
twister.
dragon has the brew that is true.
Yes.
But
That
then
is
they
a-
break the flagon with the dragon.
Oh no, so sad.
And they have to move it. It's a whole thing.
It
Well,
does
and they
have
even
that-
do the same gag.
They do.
They do they do one pass and the helmet gets knocked off and everybody's like, "Oh my god, he's so dead." Yeah.
One
And
of
then he
the
like pokes his head up out. It's very cute.
And again,
Danny Kaye.
We want to be respectful. We are so critical of this movie, but we want to be respectful to the fact that this is a children's movie. And
I don't think any of what we're lampooning takes away from it being fun.
Oh no,
right,
absolutely not. I had a great time rewatching this movie.
Yeah.
I would love to show this to a new generation. Like, I feel like this is such a good...
But I feel like they would react the same way that my nieces reacted to a Goofy movie. They'd be like, what the fuck is this?
It depends on the age you introduce them.
That's fair.
I did also try to show my niece New Hope when she was like 9 months old.
Well.
she was, I was like, well, first... Dave was like, are you sure that her dad's not going to be mad that he's not the first one to show her Star Wars?
That's a...
And I was like, oh, you're right.
Is this your brother or his brother?
It says my brother-in-law, my sister's husband.
Ah.
And...
So yeah, you won. That's...
I mean, I obviously won.
No holds barred.
But she... But she was just not into it.
Right.
Well, she's 9 months old.
I know.
I feel like you need to be 9 years old to appreciate Star Wars.
Absolutely not. I can't remember
Really?
I cannot remember the first time I watched Star Wars. That's how early I watched Star Wars.
Wow.
That and Indiana Jones and Errol Flynn's Robin Hood.
See, that's another one. Indiana Jones, Back to the Future, Star Wars, The Goonies are all around like 10.
Still never seen The Goonies. Yeah. I feel like I saw all those movies way earlier.
Wow.
Yeah, other than The Goonies, which I never saw.
Interesting.
I mean, not as early. I didn't come to...
I've still never seen The Goonies.
Yeah, no.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it was a staple for me because all of my classmates would talk about it in the same breath as, like, Billy Madison and Grease. You know, like, those are movies that we all watched in, like, Philadelphia, like...
Philly
super
youth
early
culture.
You know, like I feel like Grease was a big part of the youth culture because we all knew it and we all could quote Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore eventually.
Is this before or after the French Prince moved west?
Obviously, French Prince was at birth.
Yeah.
We knew that from the very beginning.
Yeah.
I think if you're born in Philadelphia and surrounds, you come out of the womb knowing the Fresh Prince theme. It's the first thing your first cry is in the tune.
In West
of
Philadelphia, born and raised. It's that and then Boyz II Men. So
are they a Philly thing?
Yes,
yeah,
they are.
They absolutely are.
They are like
They're the Philly thing. Like
I
have seen Boyz II Men perform with DJ Jazzy Jeff multiple times.
Wow.
And the Roots.
Wow.
The Roots were also there.
Other than the Roots, you're really dating yourself because Roots are eternal.
It's true.
Truly.
My God.
Truly.
Oh, I have a
Especially
Questlove story.
Questlove.
I ran into Questlove when I was getting donuts after I voted.
Because Questlove makes good decisions.
Questlove.
Was he also getting donuts?
He was absolutely getting donuts.
Where were you getting donuts?
It's this place called Federal Donuts. It was the location in like Fishtown, which is kind of like the where Challengers is. What's the Bucktown? It's like the Bucktown of Philadelphia. And they're known for their donuts.
Philadelphia has a neighborhood called Fishtown?
Correct. Because it used to be
Is
like
this
the
fantasy location? Like
Yes.
If
Don't
only.
you know Fishtown? It's just down at the corner of Waterdeep and the
exactly.
river.
Like it's
it
like a
literally
D&D location.
is right at the river. So there
Well, yeah, of
used to
course
be
it is.
factories right there that would deal with the fish, right? But Federal Donuts was known for artisanal donuts and fried chicken.
I mean, I guess you got the fryer.
Yeah. That goes together really well, actually.
do.
At first I was like, wait,
So
but then I
well.
was like, chicken and waffles.
Yeah, can you get the two together? Like,
Oh, absolutely.
is there like a
if
sandwich
you order
with
like a 2-piece like chicken, it comes with a donut.
Instead of
Dope.
a biscuit. That's fascinating.
Yes.
I like that.
Absolutely. You can get a chicken sandwich, which is very good. But I like the
But
on
is
the
it 2
bone.
donuts?
It's not 2 donuts, but there was a place who used to do that also had adult milkshakes, which was phenomenal.
I don't like.
You don't like adult milkshakes?
I don't like ice cream alcohol combos.
See,
do.
like this place
You're entitled
mixes
to that.
them well.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm not going to fight you on that.
Dairy
Yeah,
and
right.
alcohol for me is just like not a good.
Yeah, but also your household does not like dairy, period, right?
I mean, I like cheese.
Yeah, but Dave hates milk.
We don't drink regular milk.
Despises milk.
You're not
I
people
don't-
of the
I don't-
cow.
No, I don't like regular milk either.
The only cow that they get is the spotted kind.
Cow. When I was 4 years old, I got in trouble because I was supposed to drink milk with every meal, and instead of drinking it, I hid it behind the chair, and it was like a chair in the living room. And then a week later, my mom found all of these cups of curdled milk under the chair and was like, "You haven't been drinking this," and I was like, "No, I fucking hate it." Yeah, we are not a milk household. We are I am a cheese household. We are not a milk household. Other than milk and cheese, this movie.
Secret passages.
The secret passages that everyone knows
about.
Yeah.
Yes.
Literally everyone in the castle knows about these secret passages.
The well-known passages.
Yes.
It's my biggest critique for the movie is that Calvin is incredibly inconsistent. Mm-hmm. Like, he's really unsure and timid in the beginning, and then immediately, literally at a snap, he's confident and sure of himself, and being this smooth operator with Katie.
Yep.
You know?
Suddenly he's got something over on these dopes.
Absolutely! And sure, he's intelligent, but that's not something that they establish right away in the beginning of the movie.
Really? I felt like they established that in the beginning. I always read the, wait, but that's 4 things. I always read that as him being kind of like, he's not a sport guy. He's not, and again, you can't be more than one thing. You can't be good at sports and smart. Obviously.
Not in the 90s.
Not in the 90s.
We didn't, in that economy?
No. And so I always assumed that was a little bit of a hint of his intelligence.
Sure.
And so I think that while it maybe not necessarily demonstrated the most effectively in the script writing, I see the intention as being there. I see his intelligence score as definitely being his top stat. Intelligence and probably charisma.
On the flip side, during the final battle where Arthur and Calvin are fighting off of Belasco's henchmen, we've established that Katie can fight better than Calvin in some cases.
Yeah.
And
both of the women can fight better than
absolutely.
The men. All of the men.
And Katie doesn't fight in that final battle.
Which is very strange.
Which is very weird, right?
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping that she would get Excalibur from her dad.
Would have been great. Or even if Kate Winslet did,
Yeah, that would be I feel like that would be the appropriate thing, because in the version of this movie that hangs together a little better, Black Knight would have been a little bit more of a through line.
Right.
And so you could have...
If I were directing this movie, the Black Knight would have entered the tournament and won.
In my memory, that's what happens.
Oh, really?
Yes, in my memory, that's what happens.
It's a much better movie.
It's a much better movie.
It is a much better movie.
She wins her own fucking hand. And the sword.
Which kind of happens, but then Arthur's like, no, Calvin, you have the kingdom. What do you want to do with it? And he's like, I want to go home.
He's like, Sarah? Sarah?
Sarah, I barely know her.
Sarah and Katie? What fucking...
Well, Catherine. They're both biblical.
Yes. I mean, they're both biblical, but they both also sound like the names that were the most popular in the 80s.
For sure.
For children of that age.
One of them is the actual name of the other actress.
It's true.
I know.
Also, fun fact I learned from IMDb, the actress who played Catherine is older than Kate Winslet.
Oh, interesting. I
Really?
did not know that.
There was a 5-year age gap between her and...
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow. And
Wait,
how
between
old
her
was...
and Calvin?
Calvin, yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant between her and Kate Winslet. I was like,
No.
5 years older than Kate
There's
Winslet?
5 months between her and Kate Winslet.
Okay.
I love Kate Winslet so much.
And she does look a lot younger, so it passes. But, yeah.
And one of my favorite moments, obviously, is the Black Knight pulling the helmet off and revealing
I
the
am
hair.
no woman.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One of the proposed names, I have to say if I have children because I don't want to jinx it, one of the proposed names that Dave said for a potential baby is Eowyn. And I was like, both yes, but also... Nah, they'll get made fun of. I love you for proposing that. I love you so much for proposing.
Eowyn's
Maybe
a good
middle name. Yeah, middle name.
We have to be like Maria, Mary, some kind of... if women in our family have in the middle name has to
I mean,
be
that's a
some-
good first name.
Mary?
Yeah.
Mary Eowyn? She sounds like a Mary Ellen. Mary Ellen?
Mary Ellen. Before my grandfather passed away, I let him know that if I ever had a kid, particularly a boy, but I'm sure this could work for either a boy or a girl, their middle name will be his middle name, which was Fiesta.
No.
That's
literally
a great middle name.
Party is their middle name.
That's so good.
It's so good.
Yeah, that's phenomenal.
I mean, anything else in our reviews? I took a lot of notes, y'all. So many of these are just Kate Winslet spelled different ways with hearts. Look at there's Kate heart, and then on this page, Kate, and then there's definitely another one.
Oh, I got something.
Yes.
I hope that Calvin paid the blacksmith fairly.
I think he probably did.
Because he utilized that blacksmith a lot.
That blacksmith is really, I mean, very innovative and very, like, willing to roll with the punches.
Absolutely.
To just be like, absolutely, I'll take on this new idea.
What did he use for those wheels for the rollerblades?
Like, can you imagine coming up to
They
an
did
Etsy
look just
creator
like, yeah.
and being like, design this for me right now, and then being like, I don't have any of this technology, and you're like, do it anyway, and then that Etsy creator just does it?
Right.
I feel like he was the king's blacksmith.
Why was he dressed like that then?
Who fucking knows? But like,
Because their costume budget was nothing.
yeah, 'cause that was what was in the van.
Their budget was nothing.
Bananas.
I think their budget was nothing. I mean,
Or they
is
spent
like,
it all to get everybody to Hungary.
That's probably what it
maybe.
was.
I am very surprised that it filmed on location anywhere, because it does really, really look like a soundstage and some CGI backdrops, and that's it. Like,
Camelot is absolutely a matte painting. Just gonna say that.
is it? Was it a matte painting? I thought it was
know, that might
like
have been
a
Hungary.
green screen.
It looked so hard like a matte painting.
I thought it was a green screen of like a stock footage of a castle.
Well, okay, depends on which part you're talking about. When they first come into Camelot,
Yes.
there's like a foreground set and then a matte painting
Right.
Yeah.
behind. But yeah, then there are other bits that look like they were
like the very long shots.
the long shot
like
as
when there's,
as
like,
he's coming in, running away from the knights.
For some reason, I thought the
Or not
closer
knights,
shots
guards.
was a green screen with a CGI. Like,
I don't think they could have done the edges that well back then.
yeah, that's very true. Ugh. I'm not going to go back and watch this movie for that small detail, but
It's not worth it.
I do like learning about these special effects, because I feel like for me as an independent creator, the budget for these special effects is within my range now, and I feel like that is also exactly within my range of comedy, and therefore I always am like, what is this weird special effect that you use that is both hilarious and of a certain time period?
Well, maybe you could make something this good or better for $15 million, which was their budget.
15 million? That's actually
It's a lot more than
Yeah, it's
I mean,
more
it was
than I
a
would've
feature.
expected.
It was a feature release.
Yeah, I saw it in theaters.
Kate Winslet, by the way, 19 probably when this was filmed. Would have been 20 when it was released. How did we feel about the training scenes, which don't actually amount to a montage and never actually show him getting good at anything? I appreciate that later in the movie we're supposed to understand that he has gotten good at these things somehow, but we
I honestly don't know that he's ever actually good at them. I think he just gets more confident.
he unhorses Belasco.
But that's
Yeah, but
honestly
that's
just
his
like
confidence, I think.
it is. He unhorses him with the power of confidence.
Absolutely.
But no, seriously, it is
The four things.
It is the ability to. I mean, he's in this really heavy armor. He's obviously much smaller than the armor, so this is giving him some weight sticking to the saddle, not super glue. Which
Not this time.
that's not how super.
He did continue wearing those pants for the rest of the movie.
And
He only had one pair of pants.
I have questions.
It took him forever to get medieval garb. Why?
Why?
Hypothetically, he never got medieval garb. He put a cloak on over his baseball uniform.
No, he wasn't wearing his baseball uniform at the tournament.
That's true.
He had like a little.
did.
He had a tunic.
Yeah, that's true. He got a little tunic thing.
I said tunic with a liquid U because I'm Shakespearean trained.
That's right.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Pause. Recite some of your favorite Shakespeare.
Me?
Both of you, because you're both better at this than
I couldn't tell if you were looking at him or me.
Both of you. You're both better at this than I am.
My favorite, or the one I can actually recite?
The one you can probably recite. That's probably the better.
You're looking at me as if you expect. Do I have a monologue prepared?
Audition, go.
Gallop apace, you fiery-footed steeds, towards Phoebus' lodging, where something else happens, and then Romeo comes and fucks me.
I like your version better.
Thank you.
That works.
Thank you.
Oh God, how does it start? Fie on all foul masters and all.
What is it?
It's from Taming of the Shrew. It was Gremio.
I bring this up because almost all of my friends in Chicago have a Shakespearean background.
I mean, yeah, you.
I managed to fall into this friend group that has a ton of Shakespearean.
I will give you some time to think of your to think of your audition monologue. To say that one of my dreams has always been to film a very Hollow Crown style, historically accurate version of Shakespeare's plays.
Interesting.
As well as something that I'm thinking about doing in the next couple years is Shakespeare plays as web series, where we basically release a scene a week or an act a week. I just know that I have, like, I could literally just post this on Facebook and be like, who wants to be involved?
That was totally the Lizzie Bennet Diaries back in the day on YouTube.
Oh, yes. I think I only watched one episode of that.
I didn't watch the entire thing, but that was totally the feel that I got from it, that they were just going through with all of that. But one of my dreams was to adapt a Shakespearean play in the tone of 90s teen movies. Because, people aren't really doing that anymore. Like 10 Things, exactly.
And Clueless. Oh, wait. Well, I guess Clueless is Emma, but classic literature, yeah.
But, Whatever It Takes and Get Over It. And there were so many Shakespearean adaptations.
Why did I see that in theaters?
Because it's great. But I wanted to take one of Shakespeare's plays and do that with them. But, I haven't found the right Shakespearean play that speaks to me that way yet. And action.
Oh, it was fie on all foul jades, on all mad masters and all foul ways. Was ever a man so beaten? Was ever a man so rayed? Was ever a man so weary? I am sent before to fetch the something. He's
got the text open. That's not fair.
I know. I was like, right? I needed the word. I needed jades. I needed jades. That was the word I couldn't remember. But yeah, I was sent before to fetch a pot, and they are coming after to warm them. And then he talks about how he's real short, and so he'll warm up quickly. But still, fuck those guys.
I used to forget
it's the opening of Act 4.
I used to forget my monologues immediately after I would say them. I was terrible in acting class.
Oh, man.
I was not.
Shakespeare is one of those things that
took acting class.
We had to as screenwriters.
Part of the thing, yeah.
It was part of our curriculum because we needed to be well-rounded screenwriters.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
So we took acting and directing and camera and all of that stuff.
That makes sense.
I appreciate it now, but at the time I was just like, this is bullshit that we have to take art history.
I sort of the reverse experience where I'm like, why do I have to take fucking stagecraft?
Oh.
I hate this. But
I did like stagecraft.
I know how to use a drill now.
Oh my god, I was in Bat Boy doing stage crew.
Beautiful.
I crafted his his hollow, the big rock that he sits in.
Mm-hmm.
It was
no Bat Boy the musical.
No, it's fine.
That was after I was already jaded.
Fair enough.
About musical theater.
Okay. Anything else about the middle of the movie? Do we want to talk about?
Oh my
bicycling
goodness.
and picnicking and
yes. I mean, there's so many plot things that happen, but they all pass.
What else have you got in your notes?
Quickly. Oh my goodness. I mean, all of these are just
Kate Winslet, heart.
Obviously. But we already said Lord Belasco actually asks for consent, which is hilarious.
But he's still a creeper.
He's still creep.
And is he like the only person of color in that whole court?
What is his?
I didn't look it up because I didn't think about it, but I thought he was.
Oh,
I mean, the actor probably is. He's not coded.
To me, he just looks Italian, so I don't know.
Oh, that's true. He's probably just Italian.
It could also be. I also thought maybe Katie Paloma. Paloma sounds Spanish to me.
Sure.
It is interesting, though, that he's not really asking consent so much as he is demanding a quid pro quo.
That's true. Quid pro quo. That is very true. It was interesting that he used the word consent.
He did, yeah.
However, on the opposite end of the spectrum, Calvin does kiss Katie without consent the first time.
He does.
Which, not cool, Cal, even though you're from the future. You're from the 90s future, where we didn't really talk about that yet.
It's true.
And King Arthur, when he comes to terms with everything that's happened thus far, he
Kinda.
He also kinda tries to instill some equality.
His big reform is that anyone who's not of royal blood can join the tournament.
You can also die too.
Yep. Of which one dude is like, yeah,
I'll do that.
I'll do that.
It's me. I'm glad that the people in the joust aren't actually dead, as you have confirmed to me. They're just very heavy.
That we know of.
And again, if I ever have a child, my pregnancy, I intend to be carried around upon a cart at any time.
Makes sense.
Get you a palanquin.
Yes.
We do. Well, not we do, but we should acknowledge Joss Ackland's connection to our podcast. Because King Arthur,
yeah?
King Arthur was in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
That's right, yeah.
He played the villain,
Yeah.
Economos.
Every time you say acknowledge this connection to our podcast, I think that Joss
That, like, we've
Ackland
met
is
him?
sponsoring us.
No,
Yeah.
but
He's dead.
But do you know what else he was in?
No.
Mighty Ducks.
Wait, is he?
He was Hans.
Are you fucking kidding me?
That was Hans.
Nicole is having emotions. I know this is not a visual format, so you can't see the amount of emotions my face just went through. But Hans is one of my favorite Mighty Ducks characters,
Aww.
other than fucking Goldberg and
love
Julie
Goldberg.
the Cat Gaffney.
Hey, you know where Goldberg's from?
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
The actor?
How could we have ever guessed?
the character. Because he wears a Flyers jersey in the
exactly.
movie.
Yeah. I was just checking because sometimes we use actor and character interchangeably. Another one of my notes was I love Game of Thrones. Daniel Craig's symbol is the unicorn because the unicorn horn is his penis.
Plausible.
Benoit Blanc, you bastard.
Benoit Balls, you bastard.
I had a note about Calvin saying, I watch a lot of CNN.
I had that note as well. He watches a lot of CNN.
Did
question mark, exclamation point, question mark.
How is that relevant to this thing
Did
that
they
just
have
happened?
a lot of medieval programming in the 90s that I missed?
CNN.
What was CNN like in the 90s, Ansel?
I don't remember. I didn't watch a lot of CNN in the 90s. The earliest I watched CNN was when all you could get was like the fixed camera footage of like Congress.
Literally, I ask Ansel all these questions because he
I was a
seems
time traveler, yeah.
Yes.
I don't think I have ever watched CNN. Why would I watch CNN? I get my news from other sources.
I don't remember what it was. There was something going on in Congress, and it was one of those things where it was like...
They showed, like, the live.
Yeah, it was like, what is going on? And the only way you could watch the live footage was on CNN.
Was it the filibuster that Elizabeth Warren did in her sneakers?
No, I don't think I would have watched that.
Yeah.
It might have been... I feel like it was when I was in college, so it would have probably been something to do with... Bush doing something stupid, and us all going, "Oh God, what are they going to do about this?" Sort of thing.
I don't remember how old anybody is, so I don't know early 2000s.
Yeah. 04 to 08.
All right. Well, party people, that has been our review of A Kid in King Arthur's Court. Kinda.
Yeah.
That was kind of a review.
Did you like it?
Oh yeah, that's the thing.
Oh,
After
yeah.
all these years, do you still like it?
Oh, 100%. I mean, I was fucking smiling, and like, I mentioned earlier, I came from this from a true crime documentary, and I went to the true crime documentary after, and this was just such a ray of sunshine.
Palate thoroughly cleansed.
Palate was thoroughly cleansed. And I did forget to mention that the scene that I fully copied for my movie Warrior Pope that I wrote in high school was the scene where she has to tell Kane that she's marrying Lord Belasco. And it was literally line for line. Of course, I was the one playing the Kate Winslet character.
Of course.
With, a couple of jokes thrown in other than the line for line. But I just loved how at the end of that scene, she's like, I must marry Lord Belasco.
And then just fucks off.
Doesn't wait for a response.
Yep.
This is the person she's in love with. She doesn't wait for a response. Just...
I'm assuming you understand all of the things I'm dealing with. Bye!
I'm going to run and cry at the same time.
Mood.
Yeah, big mood.
Bam, bam.
Oh.
Bam, bam.
All right, party people, that has been your review of A Kid in King Arthur's Court. I hope you can keep up. If you would like to check out the movie, it's on Disney Plus right now. Check it out. You can find us on the internet. I'm at bsilverio20 on Instagram, Twitter, Letterboxd, Hive. I think that's all of it for now. But who knows what the Twitter alternatives can give.
Yeah.
I don't know half of those social media platforms. I am Nicole Keating, and I am at The Fake Geek Girl, spelled The Fake Geek Girl, but with the I and girl as a number 1 on every single platform. Please fund me on Patreon. I love your money.
Yeah.
I don't have a job.
I am at Indecisionist on Twitter and at The Indecisionist on Instagram. Links to her Patreon will be in the show notes, along with transcripts of the episode. So check us out at indecisionist.com.
Special thanks to April Moralba for our podcast art, and to Marlon Longid of Marlon and the Shakes for our amazing theme song. This has been an Indecisionist production.
If you'd like to join in on the conversation, you can use the hashtag Time2Party. That's time, the number 2 party.
As well as time, the number 2 party, all spelled out.
Yes, and as Princess Sarah says, a rose will prick you, but I will do far worse. But at the same
Phrasing?
time... Phrasing? Are we still doing phrasing?
It's okay if we're not, but I feel like somebody should have said.
Somebody should have said. Ooh, well, we figured that out. Be excellent to each other.
And party on, dudes.
There we go. Why can't I not think of how Greensleeves goes all of a sudden? There it is.